it's that time. The EBT cuts are kicking in. They started May 1st. Millions of Americans can and will be affected. Y'all know what I do. I'm here to give y'all the latest updates. Before we get into the video, family, you already know what to do. And if you're brand new, 2 thumbs up this video so YouTube can push this content out. Smash subscribe to join the tribe. And ring the post notification bell as well. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
I am here with your daily reminder to remind you that there are significant cuts coming to a lot of these government assistance programs. But it takes time for the system to adjust to these cuts. And so having a plan, knowing where you're going to get the resources, right? I told you that, after school, Head Start, the Department of Education, food stamps, Section 8, these programs they're being cut, right? They're not being cut completely. They're not going to be completely out of funds. But depending on which household you're in, you might be affected. So having a plan and knowing that these cuts are coming will save your life and save you a lot of stress. There are going to be a lot of strict work requirements and time limits to a lot of these housing programs. So knowing about this and, adjusting for that is the best thing you can do for yourself and your family. They're proposing another 2027 fiscal budget, and they're making even more cuts to these programs. That's why I was saying, when I made my last video, people were like, that's not true. That's not true. I believe every new budget they're going to do, they're going to keep pinching off of these programs. And, when they take 10 billion, right, that's 170,000 families. When they, so it's just, y'all, you have to pay attention to stuff like this if you use these programs, because it takes some time for you as well to adjust and make a plan. But if you're like waiting up until it's in your face, you're killing yourself for no reason, honey. You need to already know that these cuts are coming and adjust for that. Period.
It finally happened, y'all. I wasn't too worried about the EBT changes with the sugary stuff and blah blah. I don't do too much sugar anyway, so I didn't think it was gonna affect me, but it did. So I can't get my goddamn cups of ice since it's considered a fountain drink and it's literally just ice. But that's okay. The lady let me get it for free. I was gonna pay cash, but she was like, girl, it's just ice. But I always do my civil duty and I pay for it. Well, food stamps used to pay for it. I guess I just get it for free now.
Americans are hitting up the food pantries, the place that you could always go to get help. They're stepping up. They may not have enough food, but they do have food for the people that come early and stand in line. It's working essentially on a first come, first served basis. You got to get there so you can get you something.
Elroy Horton is among dozens who stopped by the Nourishing Hope Food Pantry for help this afternoon after he says his SNAP benefits were cut.
I didn't know much about it until I tried to swipe my link card at 12 o'clock and thinking I was going to get some food, and it declined.
He's been struggling to make ends meet, trying to get back on his feet, and says he relies on SNAP for the financial assistance.
So it has been very hard for me, This is my first time living out on the street, There's some days where I have to sleep on a train. And I never thought I'd be in that predicament.
In order to keep your SNAP benefits under the new requirements, the federal government says if you're able-bodied between 18 to 64 years old and you have no kids under 14, then you must work, volunteer, or participate in a training program for a minimum of 80 hours per month, or you must qualify for an exemption.
It's a huge change in the program, something that folks weren't prepared for. Information has come out in not a way that is easy to digest, and so it can be catastrophic for individuals that haven't received the information.
Volunteers have been on hand to help recipients through the recertification for benefits and to find out if they qualify for an exemption.
Are you taking any of these?
The chief executive officer tells me for every one meal the pantry provides, SNAP provides 9, which is why she says SNAP is critical for the neighbors they serve.
There's no way that Nourishing Hope can really fill that full gap for our neighbors in need. But we are going to do our best to make sure they have what they need so they can have meals on their table.
EBT and SNAP may be cut sooner than we thought, right? Beginning November 1st. Let's talk about it. Now, according to reports from people that I know personally, their EBT and SNAP benefits have been cut in half. They received their benefits for the month, and they've already been cut in half without warning, without anything. And it looks like that's all that they're going to receive. So, of course, I started doing some digging. Now, unless you have children under the age of 14, are working at least 80 hours a month, are pregnant, or in school, or volunteering, then your benefits are going to get cut. But her children are under the age of 14. There's that. What we've also learned is that whatever you currently have on your EBT or your SNAP card at this very moment, there might not be, it is not confirmed, but there might not be any more money loaded onto your EBT or SNAP card for November. So whatever you have left from October is what you will have left for November at this point.
Regardless on whatever your political affiliation is, cheering for kids to go hungry is actually insane. I have seen many posts on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, all the degenerate sites of people who talk about people losing food stamps or some type of government subsidy, and people are sitting there cheering about kids not eating because they'll say some shit like, oh, well, their parents should go to work. And even if they don't go to work, you still think the kids should starve? The innocent child who never asked to be here? Like, I truthfully don't give a fuck what parent does or doesn't go to work. Are the kids eating? Can the government feed the kids? Because to me, it's like, if the government can feed the kids, why don't the government do that? That's literally what we pay taxes for. And you guys saying, well, I don't want to pay tax for the parents to eat with the kids. Really? Really? It gets to a point where you have to admit, even this shit sounds stupid. This shit sounds dumb. And then I'll go down these people pages. I swear to God, every single time it's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus told you to starve the children. Jesus, who made 2 fishes and 3 loaves. I don't know what the fuck the story is, you guys. But that Jesus, what book in the Bible is that?
I don't really agree with this. It's not the government's job to feed your children. You should care if the parents go to work or not. They should be going to work to provide for the kids that they brought into this life. People love saying the innocent children that didn't ask to be here. Exactly, they didn't ask to be here. Those parents made those children. So they should make the right choices to go out and provide for them. Make sure they have a roof over their head and make sure they're fed.
So the media are trying to convince you that Donald Trump is starving people to death. No, really. They're mad because several million people might lose their food stamp benefits come June 1st because the federal rules around the SNAP program have been changing, and they want you to think that Republicans are stealing food from poor, helpless, hungry people. Except that's not at all true. Here's why. New federal rules require that able-bodied adults between the ages of 18 and 64 who don't have children under the age of 14 at home must work, volunteer, or participate in some sort of training or education program at least 80 hours a month in order to qualify for food stamps. That's just 4 hours a day. You could have a part-time job, you can go to school, you can volunteer at a soup kitchen, but you have to do something to earn the support that you're getting from taxpayers who have to go to work to pay your grocery bill. That's it. And it doesn't apply to the handicapped, to seniors, or to anyone with very young children at home. We're talking about able-bodied grown adults who have no excuse whatsoever not to do something. That's a bare minimum requirement. And yet leftists are still mad about it. Here's why. Because they want people hooked on the government dole. They want people stripped of their dignity and unable to do anything for themselves, because that's how they convince people to vote for them. If you require free stuff, then you'll vote for anyone who promises it to you. And if you make your own money, you don't like people taking it from you. Donald Trump is not starving people. They're mad because Donald Trump is messing with the Democrats' political system.
This next clip is for anyone thinking it's just black women depending on food stamps. It's not just black women. It's not just black people, nor is it just women. Run the statistics by us real quick.
So today I decided to use the interwebs to look at Kentucky data for SNAP benefits, and this is what I found out. Over $95 million in SNAP benefits are received by the state of Kentucky. For Louisville, Kentucky, where I live, it's over 17 million. Then they have it broken down by race, age, and gender. So 53% of women, 47% of men. why you all out here calling us welfare queens. I see a lot of kings on here, but it's not a gender issue, right? It's a government issue. I need you all to get it. Let me open this back up. I found out 75% of recipients are white, 15% are black. You see, this is not about race. It's about class, and it's about this government. Do you understand? People need this. You all on here talking about, well, if people could just work. Let me tell you something, Nancy. Over 50% of people that receive SNAP benefits work. People in the military receive SNAP benefits. Did you know that? No. This is why you're on here sounding foolish. Somebody's on here sending me things like this, talking about, oh, I don't know how they can go into the store and buy chips and cookies. Let me tell you something. Are we policing poor people? Are we policing gay people? Are we policing women's bodies? Yes, we are. This is what we've come to. You all can't mind your own business to save your life. When you understand that it is not a me against you thing, but this is a government issue, this is why we have unhoused people also. This is the problem. Nobody's being paid enough. Did you know nearly 30 to 60% of people that are unhoused work also? But people want you to believe that they don't do anything. This is the problem. Let me open this back up again. See right here where it says mind your own business, you need to put a check by that. You need to make sure you're doing that. Open up your interwebs and Google and research before you open your mouth.
People from all walks of life are feeling some type of way about these new EBT updates. Drop a comment below and let me know how you feel. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you made it to the end of the video, comment the end. THEEND. I appreciate y'all. Peace to my Hebrew fam. Shalom.